Hey, welcome back to O'Neill Steel. This project is now finished. We have our certificate of occupancy and the client is moved in. This is when we did new flooring, new ceilings, new paint, a complete facelift on the entire job, a huge demo portion up front. Now it's all done. Let's go check it out inside. Here we are in the conference room. This entire place was done in 2 contracts, one demolition and then another construction, largely because this building had so many additions added onto it and so many renovations that we didn't know what was underneath everything. We kind of removed anything that wasn't a load bearing and then gave the client something more concrete to build around. Because we did that, they have this nice big conference room that was before multiple offices. This was one of those existing windows that the lintel at the top was non-existent. One, the concrete block was being held up by, I think, a 2x6 or 2x10, something like that, and the concrete was falling. The CMU block was falling down. So that was kind of one of those unforeseen things that happens on many construction contracts where we didn't see it prior. Once we kind of demoed out the wall because of various things, we saw that there was no lintel. So we had to put that in there, but that's done and it looks great. Let's show you the rest of the space. So this is the large office space that they needed. And so it demoed out a lot of areas over here. So we had 2 columns here of storefront windows. One of them required 2 new beams to be put in. So a footer in the ground and a concrete beam. Once we did most of that demo, we were able to find out what was underneath it, figure out how to support it, and give them this open office space. This was 2 offices kind of made into one. They chose to keep that rugged brick look of the existing structure. This window was another one where it was 2 sets of windows, and luckily it had a lintel that was already in place, so we could just replace the windows and put 2 new windows in there. Again, despite a few areas that required different closets to be added, like for HVAC closets, we did add 2 to begin to run the ductwork through, but we were able to keep most of the existing IT room, the electrical room, and a storage unit in here. When you come into a project, not everything needs to be broken down and demoed out and replaced. We could keep what we could keep, which fit the plan, the architectural plans, and then what we needed added, we added later. So this was one of those areas that this whole room was surrounded by a CMU block and a concrete ceiling. And so we really had to work hard with the architect and the engineers to get a design that worked for this space. So ended up rearranging the bathrooms with this split hallway and putting the break room on the other side of the women's bathroom. That maximized the square footage for the client, and it maximized the function of the space for the client. Created functional hallways, didn't waste anything, so I think it turned out good. And finally, we had this space in the back. We did run data and power outlets into all these areas. Let me give you a little tour of this. It's a big L shape. Going back down that way is that break room. This is kind of a dead end with one of our HVAC closets, and we have really beautiful windows all throughout this space. So it's really alive, really open, really lit. One more thing is landscaping. We all know that in Jacksonville about the 50% rule. So if the cost of your project is greater than 50% of the property value, it triggers landscaping. And so that was the case here. Brand new ADA sidewalks, ADA ramp up front. Obviously we have to have the ADA parking, and then all new parking stripes and sidewalk stripes, along with the palm trees and all the shrubs and all the things. I'm gonna set any questions. Any questions? That is O'Neill Steel. Again, we had to do 2 contracts, one for pre-construction and then one for construction, which included the landscaping. Then again, every project's going to be different. So thanks for taking this tour of O'Neill Steel. We'll see you on the next one.